Russia seeks victory, not delusional compromise, in talks with Ukraine, according to Dmitry Medvedev. Everyone, Johnny here, Don't Speak News. Well, before we get started with these stories today, just want to tell you about one I put up on don'tspeaknews.com earlier today that we can't speak about anywhere else. That's why it's over there. That's assimilation into the metaverse is happening right now. So you can check that out at don'tspeaknews.com. It's the top story you'll come to. Also, the website. Well, it'll go away on July 3rd if we don't get funding. And so we are in desperate need of funding. If you'd like to support us, the channel support tab is here. There's also a fundraiser going that I'll post in the links as well. And now on to the news at hand. It seems that Dmitry Medvedev has once again said the quiet part out loud. The deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council and former president has said Tuesday that Moscow is engaged in peace talks with Ukraine in order to ultimately ensure a swift and complete Russian victory. The Istanbul talks are not for striking a compromised peace on someone else's delusional terms, but for ensuring our swift victory and complete destruction of the neo-Nazi regime. That's according to the Russian official who's long been known for his hawkish outspokenness. So that's what the Russian memorandum published yesterday is about, in reference to the set of demands presented. The Monday Istanbul talks lasted a mere hour, but resulted in agreement of another swap of 1,000 POWs. And the return of some 6,000 deceased bodies recovered from the battlefield. One key thing that Medvedev also addressed in this coming reprisal for Sunday's Operation Spiderweb, which saw Ukraine penetrate deep inside Russia with drone strikes on 5 Russian air bases. Medvedev added in an apparent response to Ukraine's weekend strikes on Russian strategic bomber bases that Moscow would take revenge. Retribution is inevitable. Our army is pushing forward and will continue to advance. Everything that needs to be blown up will be blown up, and all those who must be eliminated will die. And in fact, Hal Turner's got more of that over on his website here. All of this is on Telegram, guys. I've seen most of it already. In the Moscow's Kremlin today, numerous discussions regarding the retaliation that Russia should inflict upon Ukraine for this past weekend's drone attacks against 4 nuclear triad bases in Russia. As a backdrop to these discussions, Dmitry Medvedev, former president of Russia prior to Vladimir Putin and currently the deputy chairman of the Federation Council, i.e. their Senate, posted on social media Monday. To all who are worried about waiting for retribution, you need to worry. This is a normal person quality. Retribution is inevitable. It's important to remember that number one, as I just read to you, their army is actively advancing and will continue to advance. And number two, the negotiations in Istanbul are not intended for a compromise peace on unrealistic conditions invented by someone. We've already read those. Medvedev makes it clear that everything that must explode will certainly explode, and those who must be exterminated will disappear. So today, at today's discussions in the Kremlin, Vice President of the Russian Academy of Artillery and Rocket Sciences, Konstantin Sivkov, made it clear. First, we must destroy 4 key facilities in Kiev: the residence of the President of Ukraine, the headquarters of the main intelligence directorate of the General Staff of Ukraine, the General Staff itself, and the headquarters of the Security Service of Ukraine. These facilities, he said, must be destroyed in broad daylight, with the aim of destroying the personnel. These are not civilians. If Zelensky is there, let him be destroyed too. The main thing is to destroy the apparatus, the experts. Next, the head of the Moscow Center for the Study of Military and Political Conflicts, Andrei Klitsevich, said Russia's priority should be the destruction of Ukraine's energy and power transmission systems. 10 to 15 precise strikes are enough for that. With them, we can turn off all electricity to Ukraine, stop all of its trains and military factories. Yes, I imagine that might do the trick. So that's what's going on right now with Russia and Ukraine. So without a doubt, Zelensky's going to reject all these conditions, particularly the sticking point about territorial concessions. Kiev has already rejected the offer of a 2 or 3 day short ceasefire. Sunday's massive drone attack, which destroyed many advanced expensive aircraft such as long-range strategic bombers, which some parked at air bases very far away from the Ukraine border, was meant to give Zelensky leverage in further negotiations. So I'll let you read the rest on your own. But they are going to retaliate, have no doubt. And I wouldn't doubt if it encompasses NATO nations as well. Possibly even the United States itself. At some point, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. Now, Back over to Telegram here, Mideast Spectator. So there's a recent New York Times report that's kind of optimistic about Trump making a deal with Iran, nuclear deal that is, that they're going to allow enrichment. Well, the devil's always in the details, as we'll see right here. There seems to be a lot of optimism on social media and in the U.S. reporting about this latest proposal made by America towards Iran. I can assure you, based on Iranian diplomatic sources, this proposal, which is mentioned by the New York Times, does not sufficiently address Iran's demands. Contrary to what is being reported in the media, this is not a revised proposal. It is the same proposal that was presented by Oman's Foreign Minister al-Busadi in Tehran last week, and Iran already called it delusional and one-sided, and has practically rejected it. The proposal states that Iran will be allowed to temporarily enrich uranium on its soil, up to 3.67% purity necessary for civilian use, but that gradually Iran would dismantle its existing nuclear infrastructure, and the enrichment for Iran's fuel for its nuclear power plants will be supplied by a regional enrichment consortium in the Gulf. So Iran is not against the creation of a regional consortium or uranium enrichment consortium, but will never agree to dismantle its existing nuclear infrastructure or accept temporary ceremonial 3% enrichment, because that's all this U.S. proposal is. According to the proposal, once Iran starts receiving benefits from the deal, and meaning sanctions relief, it would have to fully give up its domestic enrichment and receive fuel for its nuclear reactors only from this regional consortium, which will likely be U.S. supervised, even if located on Iran's Persian Gulf Islands. So there you go. That's the real story on the latest U.S. proposal on Iran's nuclear program. It's a non-starter. And so all that optimism in the media is a bunch of smoke and mirrors. It's all a bunch of nonsense, as it usually is with the mainstream media. So there we go. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will be it for this report today. Don't forget, don'tspeaknews.com is home base for everything that we do. I put all kinds of stories here, including this one that I already told you about, that we can't speak about anywhere else. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at the bottom of every post. And you can also do so, I didn't have it pulled up right. You can also do so right here under subscribe, contact Tony tab right here. Click on that, type in your email, click subscribe, and you're in. There's my email if you want to contact me, don'tspeaknews@protonmail. And then for channel support, we are listener supported only, as you know. Click on that, and all the links to support us are right here. I will put the fundraising link underneath this as well. At Rumble, BitChute, and Telegram, YouTube, all those links to find us around the internet are right here. And that will be it for now, guys. Head on to swivel, prayed up, and prepped up at all times. God bless. Take care. Johnny Storm. Don't Speak News.